Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Joe from Fandroid, and we finally have the HTC 10 here. Not the 1M10, not the M10, just 10. And this is the black model, or whatever the color they want to call it. There's also going to be a silver model in the US and some other colors around the world. But as we've come to expect, this is a really well-designed phone. We've got the all-metal build here. And the new thing on the M10 is this mega chamfered edge here. It goes all the way around, and it's probably one of the biggest chamfered edges I've ever seen on a phone. But actually, it looks really nice, and it feels nice too in your hand. It uh, gives it a little bit more of a rounder edge, even though it's a hard, sharp, chamfered edge. It still feels better in your hand. So going into the phone here, we have a fingerprint sensor on the front, which is pretty much the same one that was on the A9, which was super fast. So if I can test it here, there we go. It was one of the best on the A9, and it's still one of the best now that I've used so far. We'll have to test that out a little bit more, obviously. But this is HTC software, and it's probably one of the more stock Android UIs you're going to use on a non-Nexus phone. So if I just kind of look around here, you can see that things don't look too crazy when you're looking around here, and that's pretty cool. And if you go into the app drawer, you'll notice that there's actually not a lot of redundancy. So if Google has a really good app for something, HTC decided that they're not going to try to push their own app. So there's no HTC Gallery here. There's just the Google Photos app. So we like that. Less bloatware is always a good thing, of course. And there's a lot more schemes that you can run here on the home screen with themes and stuff. You can like put stickers so that your app icons blend right in with the background. But so that's the software. Hardware here. So this is a 5.2-inch Quad HD LCD display. It looks great so far. We also inside have a Snapdragon 820 processor and 4 gigabytes of RAM. So LG, Samsung, HTC are all on the same page here on powerful processors. And I haven't used it that long, but it runs great so far. There's also USB Type C in the bottom here. So LG and HTC are now on board with that. Samsung's still a little bit behind. On the back, or inside here, I guess, 3,000 milliamp hour battery. And this is something that HTC was talking a lot about. They were really trying to push that this is going to get 2 days of battery life. That will be up for us to discover because battery life is something that a lot of people like to claim, things like that, and then we get it in real life and it's not as great. But we're hopeful. On the back here, so 12 megapixel camera on the back, and then on the front we have a 5 megapixel camera, and it actually has optical image stabilization. HTC says it's the first front facing camera to have that, so that could be cool if you're really into selfies. Boom sound was something that HTC became kind of famous for, and you might notice that there's not any front facing speakers on this one, but there actually is still boom sound. It comes out of the bottom here and in the top, so it's not quite as noticeable anymore, but HTC seems to think that it should work just as well. So that's another thing that we'll have to discover yet. But that is the HTC 10. It looks great so far. This is just the first impressions, but our first impression is that this is a great phone, and LG and Samsung do have some competition here. HTC really needed to do a good job because last year the M9 was not so hot of a phone. So everything's looking good so far. Much more from the HTC 10 on Fandroid coming up, so keep it tuned. Thanks for watching, guys.